So if you are struggling with supply, the first thing that we talk about is not going to be nutrition. The first thing we're going to figure out is baby transferring enough milk while body feeding. If not, why not? And if baby isn't transferring enough milk, then how can we create that signal through a pumping schedule that will allow your body to increase the supply so that baby is getting more milk? So foods that are known to increase supply are called galactagogues. Before we begin, I want to share something special with all of you expecting parents out there. As an internationally board certified lactation consultant, I've seen firsthand how a little planning can go a long way to helping you achieve your baby feeding goals. That's why I'm offering you my free ebook. It's called Birth Practices to Support Breastfeeding, and it's a workbook. So check out the link in the description below. Hi, welcome back to Lo's Lactation Lab. I'm so glad you're here with me today. I am so excited to address a question I get all the time, which is what should you eat and what should you avoid when you are feeding human milk to your human baby, when you're breastfeeding or when you're pumping? So I want to start by saying that breastfeeding, human milk making, mammals are amazing. Your body is literally creating a custom tailored meal for your baby. It has all the exact macronutrients and micronutrients that you could need, and that milk changes depending on the age of your baby, any illnesses they've been exposed to. So you should feel confident in knowing that what you are making for your baby is perfect for them. And your body will prioritize making milk, even if you're not eating perfectly. But we do know that getting good nutrition helps you feel better, boosts your energy, and can support a healthy milk supply. So you're not just feeding your baby. You have to remember that you are continuing to feed yourself too. Now, there are a lot of myths out there about feeding your baby, and so we might be addressing some of those. There are a lot of myths out there about what you can eat and what you can't eat while feeding your baby, so hopefully some of these will get addressed as well. So, listen, let's break it down. What should your breastfeeding plate look like when you are feeding your baby? First of all, this is a no judgment zone. And when you book an appointment with me to talk about nutrition and how it might be impacting your mood, your milk supply, your baby, it will remain a no judgment zone. So your number one goal is to feed the baby, and equally as important is to feed yourself. So however that looks like, the best way you're able to do it, you are going to get yourself fed in the best way possible. Now, we know that when producing milk for a baby, your body needs lots of protein, same as when that baby is growing inside of your womb. So anything you can do to get that protein in, lean animal proteins, chicken, beef, turkey, any way that you can get. We know that lean meats are good. Eggs are a great source of protein, beans and lentils, tofu, even things like Greek yogurt. Or if it's not possible to get in the protein in that way, finding a protein powder whose ingredients you feel really good about, or a protein drink can be a great way just to add in a little bit of protein without stressing about preparing meals, because we know that protein often needs to be prepared. And you can think about ways to get quick sources of protein like deli meats, which you can now eat freely without worry, while many people during pregnancy avoid them. Cheeses will give you some extra protein. Peanut butter, so adding peanut butter to fruit or a cheese stick with your piece of fruit, just getting protein in at every meal and quick sources of protein can be really helpful. So keeping those quick sources, having nuts around so that you can have a quick snack even while your baby's feeding and you don't have to prepare something. Things like that are all going to be really important to getting that protein in. And then, of course, we know you want whole grains, which help produce energy and will keep you going for longer, especially when you're short on sleep. So think things like brown rice and oats and whole wheat bread and quinoa. And think about what you can do that's really quick. So just throwing peanut butter on a piece of toast, for instance, adds that protein to the whole grain. Or cooking a big pot of brown rice or oats in a crock pot that can sit for the day and that you can just scoop out of throughout the day allows that food to be readily available so that you can eat it when you're hungry and when you're able to grab it in between all of the baby feeding that you're going to do. And then, of course, we know that healthy fats support your brain and support your baby's brain. And so things like avocados, nuts again, oils, fatty fish like salmon can help you feel really satisfied. They help you feel fuller, longer, and they provide both you and baby with what you need to keep your brains going. And then, of course, you know that you need lots of fruits and veggies. Just think color, because this is going to give you a wide range of vitamins and minerals and antioxidants. And do the best you can. So if all you can do is put together a frozen veggie stir fry, then do that. And if all you can do is get pre-cut carrot slices or baby carrots or pre-cut celery slices, then know that this is a short phase in your life. So I often encourage people to get those veggie platters that you buy for a party. They are more expensive than buying it yourself. But if you don't have the time to cut up fruits and veggies, knowing that you can just grab it and it's readily available and you can just leave it out on the counter and grab a veggie stick, piece of fruit that's already washed and cut and prepared is going to make you feel better and make accessing those important nutrients really important. And then finally, hydration. We hear a lot about hydration while nursing, and you don't need to drown yourself in water, but having as much water as what your body is cueing you to have is going to be really important. And if you need to get cans of seltzer or buy a soda stream or add in a little flavoring to your water so that you are encouraged to drink more, then do that. As with anything else, please be sure to eat foods that bring you joy, that make you happy, that make you look forward to your next meal. So whether that's making sure you have some pieces of chocolate on hand or cookies or having your favorite tea flavor or your favorite coffee, don't deprive yourselves of foods, because most of the time you can eat just about anything while nursing your baby. Now, of course, when we talk about what foods you should be eating while nursing, one of the big questions that come up is, what can I eat that will increase my supply? Now, I always like to preface this conversation by saying the best way to improve supply is to increase the amount of milk that you take out. So the biggest milk booster is around the clock body feeding or around the clock pumping. Every time you remove milk from your body, it signals to your body to make more milk. So if you are struggling with supply, the first thing that we talk about is not going to be nutrition. The first thing we're going to figure out is baby transferring enough milk while body feeding. If not, why not? And if baby isn't transferring enough milk, then how can we create that signal through a pumping schedule that will allow your body to increase the supply so that baby is getting more milk? So foods that are known to increase supply are called galactagogues. And I do have some other episodes about this. I'll get them linked in the show notes. But these foods vary from region to region, depending on what foods are readily available, what the cultural preferences are for food. And so there are no magic foods. But here in the United States, some of the foods that people often take to increase supply are oats. We see this listed frequently. Flaxseed, brewer's yeast is often mentioned, fennel. But listen, adding in oats when you are struggling with supply is not going to be the thing that is going to make you see an increase in your supply. Now, some galactagogues like fenugreek or other herbal supplements need to only be taken under the supervision of an IBCLC and possibly a clinical herbalist, because there are some galactagogues, listed galactagogues, that actually can have the opposite effect and can decrease your supply depending on your individual medical situation. Some foods that are fine, but you need to be aware of are, first of all, caffeine. Now, up to about 300 milligrams at a time is fine. So about 1 to 2 cups of coffee. But see how your baby reacts. If you're drinking 2 cups of coffee and you notice that your baby is more wakeful, then that might be something that you need to reduce. Alcohol, occasional drinks are okay. We'll have another episode that focuses exclusively on alcohol and drug intake and breastfeeding, but occasional drinks are fine. The general rule of thumb is if you feel okay to drive, then you are okay to nurse your baby, because it has to do with your blood alcohol level. And so if your blood alcohol level is high, the level of alcohol in the breast milk is going to be higher. But once your blood alcohol level has lowered, then it's also lowered in your breast milk. So some people try to avoid spicy or gassy foods, but it's important to recognize that breast milk is made in the blood. So although flavors do get transferred to the baby in very minute amounts, it is very unlikely that a food you eat is going to impact the baby negatively unless they have an allergy. Now, if baby shows signs of an allergy, and this would be rash, extreme fussiness, extreme gas, you might see eczema, you might see a diaper rash when we're talking about rashes. And then the biggest one is blood in the stool or very mucousy stool. Then it may be that there's an allergy. And the most common allergies are a milk protein allergy, a soy allergy, a corn allergy, an egg allergy. But again, if you suspect that your baby has an allergy, you want to work with an international board-certified lactation consultant to ensure that you are targeting the right foods and that there isn't some other underlying cause, especially if you have not seen blood in the stool. So if you are wondering whether or not your baby has an allergy, reach out to me and we can do either a virtual or an in-person consultation to figure out, is that the thing that is causing your baby to be uncomfortable? And then some tips for eating and nourishing yourself while also feeding a baby around the clock. Just keep snacks everywhere. In the diaper bag, beside the bed, in the car, things like trail mix, granola bars, cheese sticks, and those precut fruits and veggies that I discussed. Having food available means you will be more likely to eat more. Meal prep in batches, or ask friends to bring over meals instead of baby clothes, or get somebody to set up a meal train for you, especially for the first few weeks. And smoothies can be your best friend. So you can throw in greens and frozen fruit and protein powder or nut butter. And then you have your whole meal right there in a cup, and you can drink it as you're at your leisure and know that you are getting a big dose of all the foods that are going to keep you energized, that you can continue to make enough milk for your baby. And think about things that you can eat with one hand. So wraps, muffins, sandwiches, bowls of soup that you can sip through a mug or a rice bowl where everything is mixed together, so that you can be holding baby to feed and eating with another hand. So I would love to know, what are your biggest questions about feeding your baby? Go onto my TikTok and send me a message on Instagram, or go to my website and send me an email. I would love to know what your questions are. And if you have any questions about what you should or should not be eating during breastfeeding, please reach out to me and book that consultation. Why continue to wonder when you can get the non-judgmental support that you need? And don't forget, you're figuring it out. Whether you're nursing full-time, pumping full-time, doing some sort of combo situation, you're doing an amazing job. And fueling your body helps you to have the energy you need to feed your baby, bond with your baby, and provide all that amazing breast milk that you've been providing your baby so far. And with that, I'm signing off, and I'll see you soon.